Hey there, my name is Przemek, and today we talk about two recent albums from dark ambient scene. Today I'm like this because I forgot where I put my hairband. Uh, Hope that's okay. Okay, we'll start with this one. Monotone Murk. Withering of Reality's Presence. This is the second album in the catalog of Spanish label Ominous Sounds. The first one was the compilation Rituals from Ancient Europe, and it was a fantastic dark ambient compilation, and I say this not only because I had the pleasure of participating in it as Embers Below Zero, and Monotone Merc was also one of the participants. It's a project from Malta, and the project song closed that compilation, Rituals from Ancient Europe, and at the same time, this project is the first to have its own individual release on Ominous Sounds. A project from Malta, like I said, which released one EP, I think I could say it's EP, on Bandcamp, and participated in several compilations apart from Rituals. Also, for example, Witchcraft and Black Magic in the United States, which was released by 8 Tower Records. Withering of Reality's Presence. This is how the album looks like. The cover, the inside with the credits and short notes about the kind of biography of the project and descriptions of each track, and the thanks section. It's a very classic dark ambient, transporting the listener to a dark nether realm where the ground is covered in ash. The ruins of a mighty cathedral loom in the distance, just like the one on the cover. The sky is covered in smoke. You can forget about seeing the sun. It's like the trip to the land of the dead, or maybe an attempt to reflect what awaits us after death. That is one big wandering through a great wasteland, great grey wasteland, without purpose, without any destination, just eternal wandering. There's a lot of dark drones, distant resonances, mysterious voices. Sometimes there are fragments that bring to mind the post-apocalyptic atmospheres, personally for me reminding the soundtrack to the first Fallout video game, like in track 4, Mirrors and Nooses. But all this being said, in almost each track there is an element of melody or atmosphere, but never standing out to the fore, using kitchen or culinary terminology, spice that diversifies the taste of the main course. In this case, the entire composition. The most serene moment on the album is track number 6, Ennui 2, Memory Lane, because it is such a rather melancholic melody, but it is so kind of out of tune that you immediately feel that behind this slightly brighter facade there is something hideous hidden. And of course you will find familiar sounds here, because I hear echoes of, for example, Svartsin or Yenpox, but overall it is a very competent and solid album, and made, well, with taste, dark ambient taste. Monotone Merc, Withering of Reality's Presence, released by Ominous Sounds label from Spain. The second one I would like to talk about today is this one. Philippe Blache, Day Before Us. Latin title. Tristitiam et Metus, Tradam, Portare, Ventis. Day Before Us is a name that has been present on the dark ambient slash neoclassical scene for years, but has never really entered the mainstream of the genre, if we even can talk about something like mainstream dark ambient. But I remember Day Before Us from albums released on the Polish, now defunct label Rage in Eden, for example a very good split with Nimh, the project from Italy. I talk about Nimh and wrote about it a lot of times on Santa Sangre. But Day Before Us comes from France, and Philippe Blache is the person behind it. And to end the formalities, it must be said that this album is actually released signed as Philippe Blache slash Day Before Us. Because, as I remember, as Philippe explained to me, for some time he has reserved the name Day Before Us for albums made in a collaboration with the vocalists, while the instrumental albums that he records alone are signed Philippe Blache, Day Before Us. Although on this one there are a few vocal parts. And by the way, Philippe is also a reviewer for the Igloo magazine, a very good webzine covering a wide range of electronic music. And this album is, like I said, entitled Tristitiam et Metus, Tradam, Portare, Ventis, which in Latin means I will give the sadness and fear to the winds. It's a very nice poetic title, and here's how the physical edition looks like. It is released by Conjure the Circle label. The cover, very cold Mithian, cold Mit-esque. The inside, with a touch of Dead Can Dance maybe, and 90s gothic darkwave albums. Withering Roses, of course. And the inside, there's a small insert with those pictures of models, female models in red and white, and of course credits and thanks section. Baldur. If you watched my series of top 50 favorite dark deep ambient albums, you might have noticed that I am a sucker for piano parts in ambient music. When it comes to piano used in a, let's say, classical way, like on classical or neoclassical music, well, then not really. I'm not really a fan of this kind of sound, but when I hear a simple melody, stretched and treated with a delay effect or reverb effect, that almost always works for me in ambient music. And this Day Before Us offers me in a very, very huge amount, so to speak. In most tracks from under these drones and dark soundscapes emerge those melancholic, really beautiful piano parts, not even trying to dominate the whole song, but to emphasize the atmosphere of grief and yearning. A bit of gothic atmosphere maybe, but in a good way. Overall, this album mixes the sacred element with the decadent, fin de siècle element. There are moments that bring to mind raison d'être or sometimes also Daria still, a bit of Kammerheit even maybe, at least a few times. One fragment from the second track, All to Live and Follow Thee, reminds me even of Irezumi's album Endurance, although conceptually both projects, both French projects, are rather distant from one from another. Like I said, there are also female vocals and spoken word, although only in 3 tracks I think. And I also feel kind of gloomy romanticism here. It's like love and death intermingling with each other and swirling in a nocturnal dance of emotions. Good soundtrack for reading Baudelaire or our Polish Tadeusz Miciński. And if it were a purely gothic, darkwave, neoclassical album, for me it wouldn't work so well, I think. But since this ambient element is dominant here, I buy it totally. It's a great album, very elegant, poignant and majestic and melancholic. I haven't heard a lot of this kind of sacral dark ambient recently, because I think I could say this sacral dark ambient. So this is another reason why I enjoyed this one so much. Philippe Blache, Day Before Us. I can't remember this title. Tristitiam et Metus Tradam Portare Ventis. A recommendation from me. Okay, that would be it for today. 2 dark ambient albums, 2 good dark ambient albums. You can check both but I think you won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching and see you soon.